Hey Force fans, Shane here. I thought I'd do a little off-the-cuff video for you while I wait for my daughter to have her swimming lesson finished. So I'm just sat in the car at the moment. I've got an hour to kill on this beautiful summer's day. Got the window open. So, how are we all doing? All good? Recovered from the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives that have been revealed. Some absolute bangers coming out in our 6-inch line. You know, we've got the Gar Saxon, the Mother Talzin, we've got Rot of the Hutt, we've got the Maul Shadow Lord Mercenary Mandalorian. Wow. We got the brother as well. What's his name? Icarus, is it? Yeah, they all look fantastic figures. I mentioned the other day in a video about the fact that I had quite a lot of Mandalorian and Grogu figures in my Amazon basket at the moment. I've decided the only ones from that wave I'm going to get are the IG Marshall from The Mandalorian Season 3 and possibly 2 of the Snowtroopers. I'm not really going to bother with the rest of them. I've got more than enough Mandalorian figures now, including the title character. I don't need another Mando on my shelf whatsoever at all. I've got the is it Padawan one? I've got the Glavis Ringworld one. I think I've got all of them, to be honest with you. And I'm a little bit mandoed out from that particular line. I've seen a lot of reviews at the moment as well about the AT-RT, the 501st Comic-Con exclusive. Looks really cool, but again, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I said on the video the other day, it's not really the wheelhouse I'm aiming for with collecting at the moment. I'm predominantly gonna try and keep to prequel original trilogy as much as possible going forward, but I might dip in here and there. But yeah, I'm not worried about leaving that one on the shelf. In all fairness, the AT-RT looks brilliant, and I know there's going to be the one coming out later on in the year in the Imperial colours. But again, it's from a movie that I thought was massively underwhelming. And in all fairness, I saw it once in the cinema, and I've got no indication, I've got no desire to go and watch it again, to be fair. It was like 4 subpar episodes stitched together. Some cool bits in their minds, don't get me wrong. The opening sequence, that first 20 minutes, that was cool. That was quite action packed. And there was stuff with the dragon snake and the Amanis. I'll get onto those in a moment. And generally, yeah, there were a couple of little action sequences which were okay, quite enjoyable. But the movie on a whole, I'd rank it 5 out of 10, average at best, in all fairness. That was a movie it was quite a strange release, wasn't it? It came off the back of The Mandalorian Season 3, which in itself didn't do gangbusters. It wasn't well received. And yeah, we could talk all day long about why The Mandalorian and Grogu was the movie that was released. Personally, I think they should have gone with Starfighter as the main big screen Star Wars movie next year. If that does well, you know, then put out Mandalorian and Grogu, maybe, you know. But I think on the back of the reception to Mandalorian and Grogu, I think Starfighter might already be facing an uphill battle in terms of, you know, how well it's received. But anyway, I digress. Oh, that Amani, the Amani Guard, the Amani Warrior. Wow. I'm not sure if you've seen the if you've seen the socials lately, but have you seen the price that figure is going up for in TVC? Something like $37, $38 or something for a TVC figure. Wow. 3.75 TVC figure. Don't get me wrong, the figure looks great. You know, it's got some excellent sculpting on there. And it's a deluxe figure. But nearly $40 for a 3.75 figure, which isn't a Black Series. I mean, I'd pay that for the Black Series one. Don't get me wrong. I would. I'm just going to open the window. It's getting a little bit hot. But yeah, I'd pay that for a Black Series figure. Don't get me wrong. But geez, for 3.75, and the uproar's real. The uproar for that is absolutely real. I mean, a standard TVC figure, let's say, let me think of one that's not long come out. All right, Geonosis Arena Padme. I saw her going for around about $16.99. That's British pounds. And she just comes with a blaster. You know, I thought maybe the blaster or two. Standard release figure though. But nearly $40 for the Amani. I mean, I'm not a businessman. You know, I don't know the inner workings of taxes and shipping costs and, you know, distribution and all that kind of thing. And, you know, I don't profess to be an expert in that whatsoever at all. But where's that extra money going? Yeah, all right, it's a brand new, newly tooled figure, but it's got all the standard articulation points, right? Now, I should have prefaced this particular tangent. If that was a Man from Return of the Jedi, right, but deluxe at that price, I can almost forgive it. Because TVC have been screaming out for that particular figure for years now. I mean, it first came out in the Kenner line, then it came out in, was it Power of the Jedi? Around about 1999, 2000 perhaps. I don't think it's been done again. That particular character. But the one they've released, yes, they were in The Mandalorian and Grogu in a particular scene. It was a dimly lit scene, though. I mean, they weren't in it for that long. They seemed ferocious for when they were in the scene, but you don't see a lot of them. And I just can't help thinking that the cynical part of me is just thinking, oh, well, you know, the fan base wanted an Man type out there, so we'll give them this one from this underperforming, underwhelming movie. That said, I love a creature. I love an alien. I love something new. I would pay nearly $40 for it, or £35 for it, had it come out in Black Series. But that price is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But this is going to be a little bit controversial. More needs to be done to hold Hasbro account for these kind of practices. But, and I'm not going to name any channels or prominent characters on the social media side of things, but you will get certain channels that will just literally buy anything that comes out, anything and everything, for review purposes. But then you do get the odd ones that will point blank refuse to purchase it, and I admire those people. It's a channel I like. He's predominantly TVC, don't get me wrong, but he's a guy, I believe his name is Nick, and he does a channel called Only One Kenobi. Really good channel, but he put up a video the other night about this particular pricing issue, and I gotta admit, I liked his stance where he said, nope, I'm not paying it, I refuse. And I like that. I like that a lot, because I think sometimes you do need to say no. You do need to pull them to account, and you need to say, this is taking the piss, basically. All right? But anyway, let's move on from that now. So, where are we now? Where are we at with Black Series stuff at the moment? I think we're going to get a couple of quiet months now, with not so much big news going forward into. I don't think the news cycle is going to start picking up again now until the tail end of the year for promotion for the big 50th next year. We got the D23 Disney thing going on. I believe it's in 2 weeks' time, where we might see the Starfighter trailer. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing Starfighter. But I'm going to be honest with you, Shawn Levy, he seems like a nice guy. He seems like a really lovely bloke. He seems warm. He seems welcoming. But I wasn't a fan of Wolverine and Deadpool. And I wasn't a fan of another movie he did on Netflix. Now, Netflix movies are notorious for being overall quite crap at times. But he did one called The Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds. And that wasn't very good. So I was a little bit disappointed. But yeah, the jury's going to be out on Starfighter, because it is going to be a big test for Lucasfilm, I think. If that film doesn't do well, then I don't know where the franchise goes. I don't know what Disney will and Lucasfilm will do if that film fails. And again, I know it's got its fans, and I know it has got following, and people will die on the sequel trilogy hill. But I just don't think anything post Return of the Jedi has been all that much to write home about. I think, yes, you could make the case that Andor was brilliant. You could make the case Rogue One was brilliant, and they were. But it's all about the time frame that they're set. I'm specifically talking about projects that are set after the Battle of Endor. And possibly up to The Force Awakens at the very least. I think there's a lot there that has been good. The Force Awakens, I think, is still a fantastic movie. I saw that about 6 or 7 times back on release. It was crazy. I saw it with different groups of friends. I saw it with my kids, and I watched it recently as well, and it's still a very, very good film. It's very, very enjoyable. But I'm talking about more to do with the Disney Plus stuff. I mean, the Book of Boba Fett had its moment, started strong, that series. Started strong, but then it fell off a cliff. I'm not that taken with the Ahsoka series so far. I think personally that it's not always a good idea to take animated characters which are done very, very well in animation, such as the Rebels crew and Ahsoka herself, and then try and translate them over to live action. I think it's a big test. Again, you know, this is just me spitballing. This is just my opinion, but I didn't enjoy the Ahsoka show at all. Garnished some really good Black Series characters though. But yeah, I'm getting off a little bit off track. But yeah, basically, yeah, Star Wars Starfighter though is going to be a big test for Disney and Lucasfilm. And if it fails, I don't know where they go from it. I don't know where they go from that point, to be fair. I'm looking forward to 2027, in all fairness. It's going to be quite the year. It's going to be a big year for me on a personal level. I won't go into that, but there are things going on right now which are good, which are great. But they'll be even better come 2027. I'm looking forward to whatever Hasbro decide to do in terms of brand new releases. They've bigged it up massively now. They've bigged it up in such a way in the last couple of months that, you know, if it's a damp squib, it's going to be felt, and I think voices will be raised. But I do have a couple of quite quiet concerns with 2027, if I'm honest. Obviously we got Starfighter out in 2027. Now, are Hasbro going to do what they did with The Mandalorian and Grogu and front load a lot of figures for that particular movie? Or are we just going to get maybe a single wave from that movie, but the focus is going to be across, you know, 50 years of Star Wars? I really hope we get a lot more original trilogy figures. I really do. I was looking at my collection the other day, last night, and in my cabinet, I've got a Empire Strikes Back display. I've got 2 Return of the Jedi displays, 3 actually. I've got Jabba's Palace, Endor Bunker, and I've got the final duel between Darth Vader and Luke. Empire Strikes Back, I've literally just got a tiered shelf stand with my figures on there. I got a couple of odd little pieces, such as a turret, and I have got quite a few figures from the Empire Strikes Back. But again, there's loads missing, loads. And Return of the Jedi, you know, Jabba's Palace, loads of aliens that I'd love to see. But I got like a little kind of cantina set up. I haven't got a bar, I did buy a 3D purchased bar last year, but I don't know what it was, but the actual roof of the bar over time started to dip a little. So I don't think it was the greatest purchase, in all fairness. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Sorry. So I'm hoping that next year we're going to get a couple of OT characters, preferably aliens. I I think we will get more prequel representation. I think the Phantom Menace needs a couple of figures more. Could definitely do with a brand new Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin from Attack of the Clones. Just to go back to the original trilogy, I would like to see a Mon Mothma, a Lobot, a Gonk droid, a Garandan, a Tessek, a Weequay, Skiff Guard, a Klaatu perhaps, and Ugnaughts maybe. But I'm not expecting my mind to be blown next year. I think I'll be impressed with a lot. But again, I don't have a crystal ball. I can only theorize as to what I think will be released. I think they're going to do a couple of bespoke items for A New Hope specifically. I think we might see a vignette of maybe Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in the Death Star corridor. I think that would be quite a nice little set, to be fair, to commemorate. I don't even think I said that right. You know what I mean? To celebrate the 50th anniversary. I would also, I think they might do a 2-pack perhaps of maybe an Aunt Beru, an Uncle Owen, maybe. You know, they don't need super articulation either. And to be fair, they could take the legs off any other character and just stick them under a soft goods skirt. It doesn't really matter to me. I would love to see those. I think we'll get more clones. It's inevitable. They've got that 3.0 mold now. So I definitely think they'll bring more named clones out. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a big year. In terms of the channel, I don't quite know where we're gonna go, where I'm gonna go with that at the moment. I'm learning every day as I go. And I just want to work on a few more long form discussions, really. But yeah, I seem to be getting some kind of little following at the moment, which I do, you know, I really appreciate. But I'm gonna keep plugging it. I'm gonna keep plugging along and going with it and seeing where we are with the channel over the next few months. Like I said, from a personal point of view, I've got quite a big year ahead in 2027. A couple of things that might take my time away, take my focus away from the channel at points. So I will try to upload at least 2-3 times a week as best I can. They could be long form things. They might be an odd little short here and there. What I want to try and do as well is keep myself back in the loop of promoting as much as possible new releases, whether I do that strictly on Instagram, which you can find me at Force Fan Wales, to be fair. Whether or not I just do it from there, just, you know, put pre-order information on there, and then on my main channel I just keep to standard discussions, you know, just random figures here and there, just talk about them. And that's the thing, I can do those kind of videos all day long, just taking from my current collection, because I definitely will not be buying absolutely everything that comes out going forward. I did go through a point this year where anything that was TVC I 99% bought, not TVC, Black Series rather. I 99% bought the majority of it. I kind of stepped back when the Mandalorian and Grogu movie came out. But yeah, if something catches my eye and I think it's worthy of being in my display, then I may very well pick it up. But, you know, there might be a bit of a drought where I don't review the absolute latest figures and stuff like that. But that's okay. That's absolutely okay. You know, I'm not making promises or anything on this channel to you. But yeah, there's a lot going on. And there's things I'm working on in the background. I did put up a post earlier, actually. I was in the middle of recording a video regarding just questioning really whether or not I was collecting the right scale, whether I should be collecting TVC or Black Series. And I came up with a lot of different arguments for and against. But as I was watching the videos back, I wasn't convinced myself by what I was saying. So I basically put the kibosh on that video. Black Series is going to be my collecting point, basically. I was talking about, yeah, TVC are doing a lot in terms of play sets and vehicles and stuff that really hark back to growing up and playing with that kind of smaller scale things. But I just couldn't convince myself in the video, and I wrote the scripts. I rewrote them twice, 3 times, and I was like, you know what? It's not much. I couldn't find much of an argument there. I simply won't collect TVC as a hobby, and there's just too much. There's too much out there now to go back, even if I wanted to. There's too much to go back to, to try and find. And I just can't justify it. I can't justify it. It's just come along at a point where I started with a single Black Series figure, which was the AT-ST driver back in, 2013, 2014, maybe 2015. But that was my very first figure, and it just went from there. It was a premium figure. It was an adult collecting scale. I just kept with that, But then I kept on seeing things like, the sail barge and stuff, and then, the Razor Crest and the Ghost and all those figures. And, I'd love to have a sail barge. I think, as a HasLab, Hasbro absolutely slammed that out the gate. Perfect. Incredible. And I don't care what anyone says when I say this. HasLab should not be re-released again. If you didn't get it the first time, tough luck. You can try your hand at maybe buying one on the secondary market. But things like the sail barge, no, they were backed fairly cleanly. To sell it at retail, for a little bit less than it was now, would undermine, I think, the entire collective community who actually purchased the Razor Crest. And I'll probably get flamed for that kind of view, but I don't care. There is a YouTuber, I'm not going to name the person. This person is not a Hasbro fan. He's an American guy, not a Hasbro fan. Kind of a retro channel. He has a lot of opinions. and I don't agree with any of them, to be fair, but, you know, flame me, whatever, I don't care. You probably know the guy I'm on about, but like I said, I'm not going to name names, so I just don't like the guy. I think he's an egotistical know-it-all. I'll probably cut this out of the video, in all fairness. Yeah, I'll cut that out. Anyway, guys, that's me in a chat in a car. Very hot car at the moment, actually. So I thought I'd just have a chat, really, and let you go from there. But anyway, I'll post this up at some point, and you can let me know how you get on. Bye bye.